Your soft girl era starts at rock bottom, not after you've won. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by introducing you to someone who is changing the way we think about survival, success, and what it truly means to rebuild when everything has fallen apart. Zxolani Behati is not just a visionary, they are a living testament to the power of softness in the face of devastation. They are healing from severe illness, navigating disability, and starting completely over as a single woman who refused to let rock bottom define the end of their story. Solani is rewriting the rules, showing us that your soft girl era doesn't begin after you've healed, after the money returns, or after your body is fixed. It begins right now in the mess, in the middle of the hardest season you've ever faced. And what they shared with me is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about strength, success, and softness. So let me ask you something. When you hear the phrase soft girl era, what comes to mind? Maybe you picture someone who has already made it, someone who's financially free, emotionally healed, physically well, romantically fulfilled, someone who earned the right to rest because they've already conquered everything, someone who can finally afford to be soft. But here's what Zxolani taught me, and here's what I want to challenge you with today. What if your soft girl era doesn't start after you've won? What if it starts right where you are? Sick, broke, heartbroken, disabled, grieving, starting over with nothing? What if softness isn't the reward for surviving, but the strategy that helps you survive? We've been taught that softness is something you get to do later. First, you grind, first, you prove yourself, first, you sacrifice your body, your peace, your joy, your boundaries. And then, maybe if you're lucky, you get to rest. But that's a lie. And it's a lie that's killing us. Because here's the truth: grind culture doesn't care about your health. It doesn't care about your nervous system. It doesn't care that you're a Black woman carrying generational trauma, systemic oppression, and the weight of everyone else's expectations. It just wants you to keep producing, keep performing, keep pretending you're fine. And so we do. We lead teams. We do what we raise families. We hold down households. We carry entire communities on our backs. And we do it with a smile because that's what strong Black women do, right? We survive, we endure, we push through. But what happens when your body says no? What happens when the survival mode that got you this far starts to destroy you? What happens when you get sick, lose everything, and realize that the version of success you were chasing was never designed for you to actually live? That's where Zixolani is right now. And that's where so many of us are, whether we admit it or not. Let me tell you about Bazoma St. John. She's a powerhouse, a marketing executive who's led teams at Netflix, Uber, Apple Music, PepsiCo. She's the kind of woman who walks into a room and commands it. Born in Ghana and raised in the United States, Bazoma built a career that spans Spike Lee's advertising agency, major global brands, and some of the most influential companies in the world. She was climbing, she was winning, she was everything the world told her she needed to be. But in 2013, her husband, Peter St. John, died of cancer. And in that moment, everything she thought she knew about success, about ambition, about what it means to show up and lead, it all shattered. Bozoma could have hidden her grief. She could have kept performing. She could have put on the cape and kept going like nothing happened. But she didn't. Instead, she chose radical authenticity. She showed up as a grieving widow. She showed up emotional, vulnerable, fully human. And she used that pain as a foundation for a new kind of leadership, one that centers emotional truth, boundaries, and the refusal to sacrifice your humanity for a corner office. In her memoir, The Urgent Life, Bazoma talks about reorienting her entire life around presence, urgency, and emotional honesty. She made career transitions that aligned with her values, even when it meant walking away from roles that looked impressive on paper. She chose herself. And in doing so, she became a globally recognized example of what it looks like to rebuild and lead powerfully, even when you're carrying loss. Here's what Bazoma's story teaches us: you don't have to wait until you're healed to start living differently. You can rebuild right now, in the middle of the grief, in the middle of the mess. And that rebuilding can be rooted in softness, in truth, in the refusal to perform strength you don't actually feel. Your soft girl era can coexist with high achievement, it can coexist with ambition, it can coexist with leadership, but it requires you to stop pretending. It requires you to stop hiding. It requires you to show up as fully human, even when the world demands you be superhuman. Now, let me tell you about Tia Mowry. You probably know her from Sister Sister, the show that made her a household name when she was just a child. But what you might not know is that Tia has been living with endometriosis for years, a chronic illness that affects her energy, her fertility, her entire body. She was diagnosed in her 20s and became vocal about how Black women's pain is so often dismissed, how we're told we're exaggerating, how we're denied the care and compassion we deserve. And in 2022, after 14 years of marriage, she announced her divorce. Tia could have framed that as failure. She could have hidden it. She could have kept pretending everything was fine. But instead, she publicly called it an act of self love. She said, I'm choosing peace. I'm choosing alignment. I'm choosing myself. And she didn't just say it, she restructured her entire life and career around it. She adjusted her diet and lifestyle to manage her illness. She diversified her work into cookbooks, wellness content, and brand partnerships that honored her values of family, wellness, and joy. She built a business that fits her real life, not some idealized version of what she thought her life should look like. Tia's platform now centers softness, self compassion, and intentional living as core success metrics, not revenue, not visibility, not how much she can produce, but how fully she can be herself while she creates. And here's what that means for you. If you're starting over, if you're managing chronic illness, if you're navigating disability, if you're single and rebuilding your identity after a major loss, you are not behind. You are not broken. You are in a powerful design lab. This is the moment you get to rebuild your life, your work, and your money from a place of radical alignment. No more pretending, no more overgiving, no more shrinking to fit other people's expectations. Your soft girl era is not a finish line, it's a framework. It's a way of structuring your business and your career so they don't require you to abandon your body, your mental health, or your spirit. It looks like building in rest. It looks like letting go of the belief that you must do everything yourself. It looks like saying no to misaligned opportunities. It looks like designing offers and work schedules that match your true capacity, not some fantasy version of what you think you should be able to handle. And I know what some of you are thinking, but I can't afford to be soft right now. I have bills, I have responsibilities, I have people depending on me. I have to keep going. I hear you. And I'm not telling you to quit your job or abandon your responsibilities. I'm telling you that the way you're going right now is not sustainable. And if you don't choose softness now, your body will choose it for you. It will shut down. It will get sick. It will force you to stop. So the question is, are you going to choose it intentionally or are you going to wait until you have no choice? Let me tell you about Trisha Hersey and the NAP ministry. Trisha is a Black woman theologian, artist, and activist who created a global movement around one simple radical idea: rest is resistance. She began hosting in person rest experiences in 2016, often in sacred or community spaces, inviting people to lie on mats, pillows, and blankets and simply rest together. Her work is informed by her own experiences of exhaustion, her study of Black liberation theology, and her research on labor, capitalism, and the Black body. Over time, her teachings evolved into a full movement and business model that centers care, slowness, and refusal of urgency. She hosts rest events where people literally lie down and nap together. She published a book called Rest is Resistance that reframes rest not as laziness, but as a spiritual and political practice. She structures her entire organization to refuse urgency, overwork, and constant output. And here's what makes Trisha's work so powerful. She's not just talking about rest as self care, she's talking about rest as liberation. She's saying that for Black people, especially Black women, rest is an act of defiance against a system that was built on our labor, our exhaustion, our bodies breaking down so someone else could profit. The NAP ministry gives us language and legitimacy to design our businesses and our lives around rest, disability, and healing. It makes it intellectually, spiritually, and practically okay to say, I'm tired. I need to slow down. I'm going to build something that honors my body, not destroys it. And that's what Zxolani is doing right now. They're not waiting until they're fully healed to start building. They're building in a way that honors where they are right now, sick, disabled, starting over, and still worthy, still powerful, still capable of creating something beautiful and sustainable. So, here are the three things I want you to take with you today. First, your soft girl era is not a finish line, it is a framework. Softness is a way of structuring your business and career so they don't require you to abandon your body, your mental health, or your spirit. This looks like building in rest, letting go of the belief that you must do everything yourself, saying no to misaligned opportunities, and designing offers and work schedules that match your true capacity. Second, you can rebuild powerfully from rock bottom by designing for your real life, not your idealized one. Starting over sick, disabled, and single is not the end of your story. It can be the beginning of your most honest, sustainable chapter. This means being radically honest about what you can and cannot do right now, choosing business models that fit disability and healing, like digital products, consulting, or asynchronous work, and allowing yourself to ask for help and use available resources. Third, your worth is not tied to how much you produce, but to how fully you can be yourself while you create. In a world that often demands Black high achievers perform strength, perfection, and endless resilience, choosing softness, rest, boundaries, vulnerability is a rebellious act. The new success metric is, can you build impact, income, and influence without betraying your body, your values, or your need for tenderness along the way? So here's my challenge to you. Stop waiting for permission to be soft. Stop waiting for the right time, the right bank account, the right body, the right relationship status. Your soft girl era starts now, today, this moment, right where you are. If you accepted that your soft girl era can start right where you are, sick, broke, starting over, heartbroken, or disabled, what is one concrete way you would redesign your work or business this week to honor your body and your truth? Is it saying no to something? Is it asking for help? Is it changing your schedule? Is it raising your prices? Is it finally resting when you're tired? Before this weekend, choose one soft action that your future self will thank you for and commit to it like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. The world doesn't need you to be superhuman. It needs you to be whole. It needs you to be free. It needs you to be soft enough to survive, strong enough to rebuild, and brave enough to choose yourself over and over again. Your soft girl era is not coming, it's here, and it's waiting for you to step into it. Thank you.